So this homeowner called us about concerns with his heating system not operating. We came out, found out it was a problem with his thermostat. Thermostat was not energizing from Y to the outdoor unit. We bypassed the thermostat, jumped it out. The outdoor unit came on and ran. When it was connected to the thermostat, it didn't. So we recommended replacing the thermostat. Homeowner declined, said he could do it himself and do it cheaper. And well, here's the result. Stay tuned. So here you can clearly see the sub base for this new nice Nest thermostat is wired incorrectly. First of all, top right side, you see the white wire for the auxiliary connected to W1. W1 on this situation is going to be first stage and gas heating setup. Should be connected to W2, which is where the orange wire is at. That's for the reversing valve. It should be connected to O/B on the bottom left. So now you can see here we have it wired correctly. It'll operate as it's supposed to. The way it was wired earlier, when you run this thing and turn on the air conditioning, like he was trying to do, with the reversing valve not being connected correctly, the outdoor unit was going to run in heat mode and blow hot air. So the funny thing about this was the guy called in the very next morning after he replaced his thermostat, telling us the system was still not working right. Now it was blowing hot air. He still didn't have air conditioning, and we diagnosed it wrong. He put up a new thermostat. He actually works for Honeywell. He makes a point to let us know that every time we come out to his house. He's been using us for years. I don't know why he got a Google Nest thermostat and not a Honeywell product if he works for Honeywell, but it is what it is. That's what he got. And, you know, and then he calls in that we misdiagnosed it, and it was simply just the fact that he didn't wire his new thermostat correctly. So anyway, I'm going through it right now, checking the setup on it, making sure the auxiliary heating lockouts are set properly, making sure all the wire terminals are identified correctly. The O/B terminal has got to be energized in this particular situation for O, not B, for cooling, not heating. So I'm checking all this stuff out. But anyway, you pay for the first service call, and you end up having to pay for the second service call because it wasn't our mistake, it was yours. Then you have to pay for rewiring and correcting the setup in your thermostat and all that, not to mention the $300 plus I guess he paid for this thermostat, and he ends up not saving any money when he could have had us install a thermostat the first time we were there to fix the problem. It would have been cheaper for him when you add up all this extra stuff to let us replace the thermostat when we were there the first time and not have to come back out and do all this again. So homeowner DIY, guys. I mean, read the manuals, look at the books. Really not a lot to say about this. Should have let us fix it the first time. So now I'm up in the attic, making sure everything comes on and runs, and here it is. Like I said, we were out here yesterday, told him he needed a new thermostat, quoted him, and of course he works for Honeywell. He said we were charging too much, and he didn't think it was the thermostat, but he would go get one on his own. He got a Google Nest, piece of junk. Alright, so we've got the heat pump running in heat. That's working fine. We've got the heat strips locked out to below 45 degrees. Now we'll run the air conditioner real quick, make sure that works. And then he wired it up wrong and then called back this morning complaining, saying that he replaced the thermostat and it still wasn't working, when it was clearly a DIY gone wrong situation. So there you go, air conditioner's running, 49-degree supply. You gotta love people, man. You gotta love people. Hope you guys. So this is a simple explanation of why you call someone that has some kind of clue or idea about what they're doing when you do something around your house. There are people that are handy and know how to research and do things. That's fine, but we're not painting cabinets, we're not replacing doorknobs. Hanging a picture, doing a little odd and end repairs around the house is one thing, but when it comes to your heating and air conditioning equipment, your plumbing, your electrical, you really want to call somebody that knows what they're doing. Simple mistakes can cost you a lot of money in the long run, especially if they've already been there, told you what the problem is. You're going to research it online and get on YouTube of all places. You got to be careful who you watch on YouTube. Just because they've got a lot of views and they seem to be watched a lot doesn't mean they have a clue what they are doing. So you have to be careful. Things like that, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, call somebody that's experienced, that knows what they're doing, because it can cost you a lot of money in the long run. They're there, they find the problem, they're ready to fix it, they're able to fix it. Do your research, obviously, check your neighbors, who they use, things like that, reviews, get references, things like that. But anybody can show up to your house and say they do heating and air conditioning, and they can cause more damage than they're there to fix. But some things, putting up a thermostat is not that difficult of a problem, but just something as simple as wiring it up wrong can create a big headache for you. Not setting your thermostat up correctly. Calling people that have done it over and over again can get in there, get it put up, get it wired up correctly, identify the equipment you have. You may not be quite familiar with the system you have. Is it single stage? Is it two stage? Is it communicating? Is the heating system dual fuel? Is it a heat pump with a gas backup? Heat pump with electrical backup? Do you need lockouts set? Things like that. If you're not familiar with your equipment, you're not going to be able to get in there and set those things up correctly. So you need somebody that can come out, identify what you have, what your equipment is, what it does, how it operates, what the parameters are on it. Maybe a basic, simple system. It may be something kind of complicated, and you didn't think about all that when you were having it installed. You just know you were getting a two-stage hybrid, this, that, and the other, dual fuel, whatever. You've got to know how to set those things up right, wire them up correctly, and your efficiency. You don't want two things running together when they're not designed to run together, things like that. So you have to be really careful. And then when you're calling somebody out, a licensed person in heating and air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical is very important. You don't want to be calling the guy off Craigslist that's just working out of his back deck and got some capacitors and motors and things like that. They really have to be familiar with using somebody that's not licensed. Can cause you headaches financially. They can put your safety at risk. They can damage your equipment and damage your property if they don't know what they're doing and they're not certified and correctly qualified to do what you're asking them to do. So things like that are really important. So it's up to you. You can try things on your own. Like I said, hanging pictures, replacing a faucet in the bathroom, you can have water damage there if you don't do it right. But there are some things that you just need to call somebody that's qualified, certified, licensed, and experienced to be able to identify what you have. You can show up to Lowe's or Home Depot and say, I need a thermostat. And if you don't know how to tell them exactly what kind of equipment you have, they're just going to hand you some thermostat off the wall or off the shelf, and it's not going to work with the equipment you have. But you're going to pay for it. You're going to get out of there. You're going to get home, and you're not going to be able to install it or set it up because it doesn't work with what you have. And the thermostats at those places are really just kind of basic thermostats. The nests and the eco bees, I've replaced more of those than I've actually installed because they had failures, quirks, problems 2-3 years after they were put up, and ended up replacing them with something more simple, more basic. And you can get thermostats like that that have Wi-Fi if that's what you're looking for. You need an app on your phone. You want to be able to turn your thermostat, turn your heating, cooling on, off, set your temperatures after you leave or when you're not there. That's fine. There are plenty of options for that. But guys, there are some things that DIY is just not. And there's guys on here that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and they post DIY videos, and go for it if that's what you want to do. But it can cost you a lot of money in the long run if you don't have a professional come out and do your work for you. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. To each his own. Do what you want to do, choose what you want to do, but understand that if you make mistakes and you mess something up, the person that you call to come out and fix that is going to charge you accordingly. Your mistake was your mistake. It's not their problem. It's not their situation to absorb cost and expense for. They're going to charge you to fix the problem. And they're going to fix it correctly if you call the right person, and you're going to be okay. They'll warranty it, things like that, but you do something on your own, there's no warranty. You burn up your unit, you damage your air conditioning system, you damage your heating system, you damage your plumbing, you damage your electrical because you try to do it yourself. You're going to pay a whole lot more money in the long run paying a professional to come out and get it done correctly and get it fixed for you. And you could have done that to begin with and probably gotten away with a lot less of an expense. And so keep that in mind. Check who you're calling, make sure they're properly certified, licensed, and qualified to do the work that you want them to come out and do. That's a simple question. Are you licensed? Are you insured? You can get on your state's website, run that person's business name, their personal name, and verify whether they're licensed or credentialed properly to do the work you're asking them to do. It's a very simple background check. You can do it on the line, state's website here in North Carolina. If it's heating and plumbing, you're going to get on the Board of Examiners website, and they're going to give you a place where you can check licenses, put in that person's name, put in their business name that they're using, if it's a legitimate business name, not something they just printed on a door magnet, and check to see if they're registered, certified, and licensed in your state. So anyway, guys, if you want it done right, call a professional. If you want to do it yourself, give it a shot. But be prepared that if you make those mistakes, you're going to pay for it in the end, because the company coming out, the person coming out, they're going to charge for what they're worth. They're going to charge for their value, their experience, their know-how, their ability to fix your problem, and it is what it is. So anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.